at breakfast on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Coming up to 10 minutes before 8 is the time. Tom will be speaking with you soon about the person who is going to emerge, or the two people who will emerge to fight it out to be the leader of the Conservative Party and, of course, therefore the Prime Minister. Let's expand on who has a degree of influence in this. Brandon Lewis is, of course, a Conservative MP, very recently serving as Northern Ireland Secretary. He also served as Chairman of the Conservative Party, and he is now effectively running the leadership campaign for Nadim Zahawi and joins me now. Thank you for coming on. Good to see you again, Mr. Lewis. Why Nadim Zahawi? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Nick. Good to see you, and good to be back on in a different capacity.
We'll talk about that. Don't worry, Mr. Lewis. Yeah, don't worry. I've got that. Yes, was question 3.
I'm running. I'm looking after and running Nadim Zahawi's campaign. Look, the reason I'm backing Nadim is multiple. Actually, look, he's somebody who built a business from nothing, did it very successfully, so he knows how to grow businesses. He's proved that in government by rolling out such a phenomenally successful vaccine rollout that the country has benefited from, obviously through the pandemic, and then latterly as Secretary of State at Education, already making great waves there and driving the agenda, getting things done, getting schools built as well, actually. So he's somebody who knows how to put teams together, understands as well that people want to be able to see and understand what we're doing. So, for example, with the tax policies we want to bring forward that will make a real difference for people in their lives. So I think, look, and ultimately, Nick, I've got to say, he's a thoroughly decent man, and I want to support somebody who I think is a decent person who can put together a good government that's going to get things done, and he's got a track record of getting things done.
Certainly if you look at the success of the vaccine along with the National Health Service and the British military, that was an extraordinary achievement. He was very much involved in that. One newspaper, the Daily Mirror, though, is getting very excited about his level of decency. They're suggesting that there are millions of pounds in loans, £32 million in loans, coming, quotes, from other creditors, according to a look at the books of his company. Are you aware who those creditors might be?
Look, I think there's a lot of people who are, sadly, over the last few days, throwing dirt around. Nadim himself dealt with a lot of this himself in interviews over the last couple of days. And I think one of the things we've said is, look, I think we're in a changing world now, and we've got to learn and borrow some ideas from what we see around the world. That's why Nadim has said if he's in the final 2, and obviously as Prime Minister, he will not only publish his accounts and tax returns as Prime Minister, but in the final 2, he'll publish them, and will do so retrospectively as well. We've got to just focus on, and we are focused on, what we want to do for the country, what we want to do for our colleagues, for the Conservative Party. I'll let others get involved in smears and so on. We're just going to focus on getting things done.
You'll know, but to remind my listeners, the first hurdle that your colleague must clear is 20 supporters. I have a note here that currently he's at 14, puts him a little bit behind some of the others. How confident are you that he's going to get the additional numbers he needs?
I know, look, we've got the additional numbers. These figures come out from people who have publicly declared and been listed on various social media websites. We've got more than that in supporters. We'll be getting those signatures and putting them in today. And actually, I'm confident of the round 1 voting tomorrow as well.
That means you're up to 30 plus as well, are you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, look, I'm confident, Nick, that Nadim will not only get the signatures today, but that we're in a good position for the votes tomorrow and actually going forward. I think as people see more and more of what Nadim has to offer, his ideas and his plan for the country and for our party, because of course we're looking to be leader of the Conservative Party as well as Prime Minister of our country. I think more and more people will want to support him and see him through to the final to become our Prime Minister.
And who do you think he might face in the final?
I really don't know. I think, look, obviously Rishi Sunak's team have got a lot of declared supporters at the moment, but there's well over, with about 350 plus members of the Conservative Party. There's a good spread of candidates out there. Things will shift and change as we go through the rounds and people withdraw from the contest or don't get through various rounds. So look, I think this could well be quite close into the final 2, and our focus is on being in the final 2 so that we can go to the membership. As I say, I think we've got a great candidate in Nadim Zahawi, and I think we've got a good message for the country as well. So I'm confident about where we are.
How tarnished is Mr Zahawi by serving in the cabinet of Boris Johnson in a number of posts, indeed Chancellor just briefly?
Well, I don't think he is, actually, and I'd say that for 2 reasons to explain that, Nick, because it's a fair query for a number of the candidates out there. But look, Nadim is somebody who came in.
He's not the only one.
Yeah, no, I think he's somebody who came in about 9 months ago. He's already made a mark in terms of the moves he's made in education, driving forward T-levels and other areas in the education department and getting schools built, driving down on the costs and the waste in the education department to the benefit of people as well. So I think people see that. I think they've seen him as a positive light within the cabinet, and also somebody who has done those roles, including over the last week or so as Chancellor, because he has an absolute passion for and belief in public duty. And I think people do hopefully respect the fact that all of us who have served have done so through a sense of public duty and wanting to make our country a better place for the future. That's what drives him to want to be Prime Minister.
You referenced at the start of the conversation, Mr. Lewis, you're wearing a different hat, as it were, today. Why should my listeners really believe a single word you say when it wasn't that long ago that you were telling me that parties didn't matter, the Prime Minister was focusing on delivering on the promises, delivering on jobs, delivering and tackling the cost of the living crisis? Why should we believe you now, Mr. Lewis?
Because I think actually if you take pretty much all those things, Nick, in terms of we were getting things done, and certainly in Northern Ireland we got record funding for Northern Ireland over the last settlement. We were able to get delivered the promise to our veterans just in the last week or so. I managed to deliver on literally my last day in office the funding for increasing in integrated education actually in Northern Ireland. We were getting things done. But sadly, look, the reality is the numbers are the numbers. That's something we all have to learn in politics. You've got to know the numbers. And it was very clear on Wednesday that the Prime Minister was not able to command that confidence from colleagues across the backbenches and across Parliament in Westminster as we were seeing ministers resign, and therefore I think he made the right decision to step down. Look, with the majority that he secured in 2019, I think that is sad, but it's the reality of where we are.
How difficult was it for you to say, up with this I cannot put to the Prime Minister?
I have to say it was very difficult. Wednesday, and particularly Wednesday night, was a very, for me, it was quite sad. I have to say it was quite a tough decision. It was a very tough, one of the hardest decisions I've made in politics.
Have you spoken with him since?
Look, we've communicated since. I haven't spoken to him in person since Wednesday night, not face to face, but we have communicated since. And he sent me a very, very nice note. Look, I say I'm proud to have served in his government. I think we did some great things. We took the country through the pandemic. He's been dealing with the war in Ukraine, as well as looking to deliver on that domestic agenda. I'm very proud of what we achieved in Northern Ireland as well. And I think he can be very proud actually of doing something quite historic in Northern Ireland with how we're moving forward on the issue of the legacy of the Troubles, as well as dealing with the Northern Ireland Protocol that does need to be dealt with.
Lastly, one major party figure who, as I understand it, has yet to declare, you might be closer to it than I am, is of course Priti Patel. You worked under her as the security minister at the Home Office. Do you think she might run? Do you think she should run? Do you think she should join your merry band? Where are you on Priti Patel?
Well, I definitely can't speak for Priti Patel. She is very, very capable of speaking for herself. Look, yes, I work with Priti. I think she's been a great Home Secretary, focused on the issues that deliver for people. Obviously, I want everybody to come and support and vote for and work with Nadhim Zahawi. We want to build a really good, wide open tent, bring the party together and have our focus on delivering for people.
Grateful for your time. Brandon Lewis, thank you. Conservative MP, of course, served as Northern Ireland Secretary as recently as last week, also chairman of the Conservative Party, now chairing Nadhim Zahawi's campaign to be leader of the party. 3 to 8 the time. Let's pick up on your calls on that. Thank you for holding. Tom in Oxford, you're not impressed by Nadhim Zahawi. It's someone else you think is going to win the job.
That's true, Nick. I think Rishi Sunak is going to be our next Prime Minister if the